Hello dear students, welcome back to my YouTube channel Anveshana Academy. This is Dr. Manjunath Chennapkot. Dear students, in the previous class we discussed about what is temperature and how to measure the temperature and what are the units for temperature. In detail we have discussed. Dear students, we'll move towards next topic. So next topic is heat actually. Dear students, we understood what is temperature. Temperature is nothing but what? Measuring or indication of hotness or coldness of a system or a body is known to be temperature, that can be expressed in terms of degrees Celsius, Kelvin or Fahrenheit. And with the help of the temperature, we can determine the direction of heat energy flow that we have discussed in detail in the previous class. So next topic is heat. What is heat actually? So heat is a form of energy that can be transferred from one system to another as a result of temperature difference. I repeat, heat is a form of energy that can be transferred from one system to another as a result of temperature difference. That is known to be heat. Okay. So now measuring the system, I will take, dear students, I will take an example here. Hot coffee or a tea, I will take it here. That is temperature of that hot coffee is 70 degrees Celsius. So how I can tell? I will with the help of thermometer, I will measure whether it is hot or cold. Measuring hot or cold is nothing but what? Temperature. That temperature is 70 degrees Celsius now. This is a hot coffee. That hot coffee I will put on to the table. Then surrounding temperature, I will assume that's 20 degrees Celsius. Then what will happen now, dear students? Because of this change in temperature, 70 and 20 degrees Celsius, you can take the difference, that is 70 minus 20 degrees Celsius. Then what you are going to get? There is a 50 degrees Celsius change in temperature is there. Okay, because of this change in temperature, one kind of energy is going to transfer one system to another or from system to the surrounding. Because of this temperature difference, that means one kind of energy which is going to transfer from high temperature region to low temperature region. That kind of energy we will call it as a heat energy, dear students. Now, what is heat energy? Heat is nothing but what? We can say heat. That is a kind of energy. So, one kind of energy is going to transfer from high temperature region to low temperature region. I mean 70 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius. A kind of energy we will call it as a heat energy, dear students. Now, so here to here, that is nothing but what? Heat energy. Now you can take, according to thermodynamics, you can say it is a system. The heat energy is going to transfer from system to the surrounding. You can call it as a surrounding. Here what actually happening, dear students? Now, so heat is going to transfer from system to the surrounding. Because of temperature difference, that energy we can call it as a heat energy, dear students. This is one example. I have taken hot coffee or a tea. I have explained. That situation may be vice versa also. How it is, that you can see here, dear students. Now I will take a soda bottle. Okay, now that soda bottle temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, assume that in the summer season the temperature of ambient or surrounding is 40 degrees Celsius. Now then what will happen? Now one kind of energy is going to transfer from 40 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius. Now this soda bottle, you can call it as a system. Now it is what? Surrounding, dear students. Surrounding, I will mark here now. So surrounding temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. Then soda temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. Now a kind of energy is going to transfer from surrounding to the system or from ambient to the soda bottle. That energy we will call it as a heat energy. A kind of energy is going to transfer from high temperature region to low temperature region. A kind of energy we will call it as a heat energy, dear students. But in this case, what we can see, the heat is going to transfer from surrounding to the system. One example, here heat is going to transfer from system to the surrounding. A kind of energy is transferring from system to the surrounding or surrounding to the system because of temperature difference. That kind of energy we are going to call as a heat energy. Okay, fine. So now, based upon heat is going to transfer from system to the surrounding or surrounding to the system, we are going to give some sign convention. So if you supplied heat to the system, if you call it a system, right? If you supplied heat to the system, that heat is represented by what? Q. If you supplied heat to the system, that we will call it as a positive sign, dear students. If heat is transferred into the system, is positive. If heat is rejected from system to the surrounding, that means what? It is positive. If we are removing heat from system to the surrounding, then that is what? Negative. Negative heat energy. So if the heat is transferring out of the system is considered to be negative, then heat supplying to the system is positive. Okay, sign convention. How it is that we can see here, dear students. Now I will take a system, okay, thermodynamic system. If you supplied heat to the system is what we can say? It is what? Positive. If you supplied heat to the system is positive. If the heat is rejected from system to the surrounding, that is nothing but what? Negative heat energy, where heat energy is represented by what? Q actually. Okay, so Q, heat energy or heat transfer is represented by Q actually. Okay, fine. So we can call energy also. Fine. Now, so is there any effect of heat? Yes, dear students, that heat play a very important role in our day-to-day life. How it is that you can see? If you supply certain amount of heat to anything else, what happens? There are some changes they are going to happen in the system or a body. What changes they are going to happen? That you can see here, dear students. Now, if you are supplying heat to the system, right, you can take a system or a body. Generally I will take system as a word because it's a thermodynamic term, that is system. So when we are going to supply heat to the system, right, there is some effect they are going to happen. What are those? Thermal expansion is going to happen. What is that? Thermal effect, expansion, that you can see here, dear students. I will take a metal rod. Okay, I will heat one end of the metal rod. Then what happens? The heat energy is going to transfer from high temperature region to low temperature region. That is, heat energy is getting transferred. Because of this heat, some effect or some changes they are going to happen onto the metal rod. You can take it here, metal rod. I am heating metal rod, right? Metal rod you can take, or you can take metal wire. Some changes they are going to happen in the metal rod or metal wire. That changes may be thermal expansion, or that changes may be rise in temperature. Initially, if it is ambient temperature, you can take 30 degrees Celsius. If you supply heat continuously, then what happens? That 30 degrees Celsius may become, that 30 degrees Celsius may become 50 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Celsius, dear students. So change in temperature. So sometimes if you keep on adding heat, there will be change in state. How it is that you can see here, dear students. Now I will take a container. In that container, assume that water I have taken. Okay, if you keep on adding heat, then what happens? Water is going to change into gas or steam. That means what? Liquid state is going to change into the vapor state. The water is going to converted into steam. That means what? There is change in state because of the heat. So that heat play a very important role, dear student. So I told you thermal expansion. When it comes to thermal expansion, you can take, dear students, when you keep on adding heat to the metal rod, right, that thermal expansion, there is a expansion in the metal wire or metal rod. That too happens in terms of what? There may be a linear expansion. That means what? The length may be increased. Initially, assume that initially if it is a 1 meter, if you due to application of heat continuously, that may become 1.08 meter. So that 0.8 meter is nothing but what? Linear expansion. The length of the wire or metal is increased due to application of heat. That means what? Linear expansion. One thing. And if you keep on adding the heat, the area may be increased. That area is nothing but what? Area expansion. If the area increases due to application of the heat in the wire, then what happens? The area of the wire, if it is increased, that expansion we can call it as a area expansion. If the volume is expand, then we can call it as a volume expansion. How it is? Linear expansion, area expansion and volume expansion. With help of some examples, I will try to understand you, dear students. Now first one, I told you area expansion. What is that area expansion? I will apply certain amount of heat to the metal block. You can call it as a metal block. When you are adding heat to the metal block, right, after some times what happens? Keep on adding the heat, there is a expansion. That expansion in the in two dimension. So expansion you can take in x direction, expansion will take place in y direction. So if it is taking in x and y direction and x direction, that means what? Area, this length is also going to increase and vertical length is also going to increase. So length into breadth is nothing but what? Area of the block you can consider. That means what? If there is an increase in the length, y direction and x direction is nothing but what? Area is going to increase. That means what? There is an expansion in the area because of the heat supply. That expansion we can call it as a heat, that expansion we will call it as a thermal area expansion. One thing that you can see it in the blacksmith, you can see that application, how the thermal area expansion will take place. This you can have a blacksmith application. Next, volume expansion. Dear students, if you keep on adding the heat, right, here in the volume what will happen? The changes in the there is an increase in the dimensions of a block in x, in y and z. That means what? It is going to increase the dimension of the block in all direction, that is x, y and z direction. If the expansion takes place in all direction, that is nothing but what? Length also increased. Okay, you can take a breadth also increase and you can take a height also increase. That means what? Volume, length, breadth, height. So length, breadth, height. That means what? Meter, meter, meter. So it is nothing but what? Meter cube. That means what? If due to application of heat, the block is expanded in all the direction, that expansion we will call it as a volume expansion. Okay, again you can take a blacksmith application and you can understand the students. Okay, now when it comes to heat, right, as I told you, sign convention. So heat supplied to the system, you can take, I will take a boiler as a system. Already understood, dear students, you already understood what is heat. Heat is a form of energy that flows from hotter object to colder object, or high temperature region to low temperature region, or heat is a form of energy which is transferring due to change in temperature. That is known to be heat, and the unit for heat is joule, that we know already. Okay, dear students, while explaining I told you heat supplied to the system is positive. Heat supplied to the system is positive. How it is? You can take a application of boiler. To get some work from boiler, what you are going to do? You are going to supply certain amount of heat. Due to application of this heat, the boiler, what it will do? It will utilize that heat and it will convert that water into steam. Then that steam we are using to generate the electrical power. That's one application though. So that means what? Heat is positive here. You have to get some work from the turbine, you need to have steam. That steam can be get from a device that is nothing but what? Boiler. So heat supplying to the boiler is positive. This is what? Sign convention for heat is positive. Second example I will take it, dear students. Now I will take a condenser. So I will pass the cold water into the condenser. Condenser is going to absorb the heat from the steam. Say example 80 degrees Celsius. Then that water will come out. That will be hot water. Then that hot water is entering into the surrounding. So that means what? Heat is transferred from system to the surrounding. If the heat is transferred from system to the surrounding is negative. If heat is supplied from surrounding to the system is positive. It is positive and it is negative. So heat supplied to the system is positive. Heat supplying from system to the surrounding is negative, dear students. So that you can see here now. So that means what is a system? Heat supplying to the system is positive. Heat rejecting from system to the surrounding is negative, dear students. This is a sign convention that is very important. Then we know energy transfer due to change in temperature is heat energy. Unit is joules we can say. Then or else calorie also we can use. This is about heat, dear students. I hope you understood. Thank you. If you not yet subscribed, please subscribe my channel and do like and support me. For more updation, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.